Hello and welcome to Canyon Professional Development. Cece and I are so excited that you all are here today for a training video, an introduction to the International Christian STEM Competition. You want to keep in touch with us for so many more reasons than just the ICSC. So don't forget to follow us on social. We're Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X, and LinkedIn. And if you want some freebies and some fun stuff that GCU shows off, please follow us on social media. And without further ado, let's get right into this International Christian STEM Competition introduction. We are blessed and lucky to work alongside ICSC, Student Leadership and Learning. And Cece and I represent Grand Canyon University's Canyon Professional Development, K-12 Educational Development. And we are just here to make sure that you are on the right path for the ICSC. So Cece, I want to start by asking you, what's the one word that comes to your mind when you think ICSC?
Excitement. It has to be the excitement the day of.
Excitement on the day of. So you are like end game in your brain because you've seen these kids get super thrilled when they succeed in front of this audience of international competitors. That's what you mean by excitement?
Yes, and it's been building for an entire, year of work, or many, many months building up to that day of excitement. So that's a real payoff for me, being able to be able to serve in this capacity and seeing those kids.
And this is our fourth year in a row, folks. So we are excited to see the evolution of our International Christian STEM competition. And Cece, if I were to say one word, well, my word is actually two words because, I'm wordy.
Yes.
I'd say productive struggle. I am excited when I see students get uncomfortable. And it's a strange thought. I'm excited. I mean, I find that life can throw that at us. And so when we give our students the opportunity to productively struggle, I think that is where it's at. We're actually giving them something that they can use in their future.
I love that you mentioned that productive struggle. And I like to always start with a verse when we're talking about our International Christian STEM competition. And this one that I chose was, "For nothing will be impossible with God." And so when we think about that productive struggle, we know that God is going to make this possible. And it's probably going to be some moments with you and your students where there's going to be some struggle, but nothing's impossible with God.
Thank you for reminding me. Here I get all uncomfortable, and I have to remember that God is always by my side. So with his vision, with his all knowing and all being, we have to remember how important it is to productively struggle, but also to know that he's got us. So thank you for that reminder. Let's move right on. I'm obviously having some problems with my controls. I apologize. There we go. So we're going to talk today, folks, about what the heck is the ICSC. And you'll hear us abbreviate it because it's really a mouthful to say International Christian STEM Competition. We'll talk about what it is. We're going to talk more importantly about how to get started as an advisor and to make a winning plan. So Cece's got you covered here. And I love this concept, Cece. Why ICSC?
Well, we have a lot of STEM competitions all across the country, but before we started this, we did not have a Christian STEM competition. And because of our Christian worldview that we hold near and dear, and we want that to be the lens that we see STEM through. And so out of this came the International Christian STEM Competition, because we know that our students are going to succeed and do their very best when we look at STEM through a Christian worldview.
I love it. And it also aligns directly with Grand Canyon University's concept of service mindset, so that we look at STEM as service to others. So STEM in service to others. Our engineering college, our technology college, our College of Natural Sciences, it's just what we do. It's who we are and what we do. So thank you, Cece, for again another reminder as to why this competition is unique. So I'm excited to unveil when it's going to happen, folks. April 4th and 5th at Grand Canyon University 2025. Cece, we got 2 days this time, 2 days. This is
2
exciting.
days.
That means it's growing, right? So the competition
Yes.
is real and it's growing. So folks, mark your calendars right now, April 4th and 5th, ICSC at Grand Canyon University. And as we have done in the past, we will do in the future 5 STEM challenges. So let's go through these real quickly, and then we'll talk about how you can really launch into each one of them, or maybe just one of them. So starting at the top here, we've got our innovation and service. Probably the most unique challenge in the sense that students create some sort of apparatus utilizing STEM, a technology assistive product that allows them to assist someone else. So again, STEM in service of others. So this is a little bit more open-ended, the innovation and service. Think of it also as an entrepreneurial style STEM challenge, where whatever it is that they create, think in their minds, like, how could I actually scale this and get it out to market so it could help more people? Really interesting and unique competition, the innovation and service. Our next challenge, I shouldn't say competition, but our next STEM challenge is our ethical artificial intelligence game. So ethics, folks, again, Christian worldview. We have to put ethics behind AI, especially now. GPUs are larger than CPUs. In other words, we've got to kind of control and feed our AI that ethical Christian worldview piece in an AI game. So students will be creating a game utilizing ethical AI. We've also brought back our aerospace design STEM challenge. We're not going to give a lot of information about what it is, but all you need to really think about here is aerospace foundations. So foundations in aerospace, that has so many connotations, from rocketry to airline flight to helicopter. Think in those terms, right? Aerospace foundations. And then we also have our robot search and rescue. Quest for Excellence will be our partner once again in our robot search and rescue, where your students will be coding, putting together a robot and utilizing that robot in a competitive obstacle course. Yes, they will be given some crazy challenges on the day of the event. So this is an excellent way to get your students interested in robotics. Now, I've said all those 4 challenges. I know there's one more Cece's going to talk to us about in just a second, but Cece, what did I miss? Is there anything that you want to add to those 4 STEM challenges?
No, I think you've given us a great overview, and just hold on to these ideas, because August 5th, when registration opens, you'll be able to get the specifications for those challenges, and it's going to be another great round of challenges this year. I think we get better and better every year.
Absolutely. Well, our students certainly get better and better every
Yes.
year, which is so exciting. So, I mean, really, what's exciting for you, the advisor? What piques your interest? Is it AI? Is it innovation and service? Is it aerospace? Is it robot search and rescue? Because one of these 4, you're going to need to create a team under one of these 4 competitions challenges in order to be a part of number 5. Is that correct, Cece?
Yes, yes. So we want we have on-site design challenge, and it's always very popular. In the past, it has been that if you're on one of those other 4 competitions, because just of time-wise, we couldn't have you do the on-site design challenge. That's all going to change coming up this year. So you're going to be able to do one of the 4 as well as the on-site design challenge, and you can mix it up too. Those teams don't have to stay the same. Feel free to mix it up. And the nice thing is that as you're thinking about all these different challenges, you may have just a few students that want to form a single team for one specific challenge, and that's great. And then just focus in on that specific challenge this year, and maybe you'll grow next year.
That is great advice. So don't get too stressed out about so many challenges. Just pick one if that's where your comfort level is. However, the on-site design challenge is in addition to that one, right? Am I correct in saying
Yes,
that?
the on-site design challenge is in addition to that one. And if this is new to you, this specific challenge, you'll sign up for it ahead of time, have those teams in formation. However, the actual challenge is not revealed until right before, at the beginning of the competition, really.
And that is the fun part. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you'll maybe hear a little bit about it, but it's kind of that unveiling, which is so exciting. Well, that's just a basic overview of all 5 of the challenges. So our next slide just tells you to register. In order to register for this event, you've got to work through ACSI. We have the website for you to make sure you know. It's really easy, acsi.org/STEM. And you can register for the event. And again, in registration, CC, folks are going to need to have formed teams of 2 to 5, or can they register first and not really worry about this part yet, but this is coming later? Tell us a little bit about exploring.
Yes, yes. So you're just registering your school on August 5th. You're going to then get all of those competition specifications. You're going to explore those. I would explore them as the advisor first, get really familiar with them. And depending on your situation, you're going to share one or all of those challenges with the students that you're working with. And this could be in a STEM course, it could be an after school STEM program. Different clubs might be interested in competing in these STEM challenges. So that could look a lot of different ways. Get creative with it. And then you'll, once the students are familiar with all of those competitions, they've looked at the specifications, they can start to think about what is it that they like to do, what interests them the most, and start creating those teams.
Really important that after this training video, advisors register and are able to get the specifications so that they can read them kind of cover to cover and be really familiar with them before perhaps they form their teams of 2 to 5 students. Unless, of course, students, if you have a STEM club after school, for example, and you literally give the specifications to your students. I mean, if they're 9th grade, whatever. I mean, these kids, I want to do this competition. You may not have to do a whole lot if you allow your students to drive the bus a little bit, as we say.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that this can work. I think the most important thing is that both the advisor and the students take that time to really read through those specifications several times and really pull out those the criteria and constraints and really know all the details about what's expected in that competition.
So right now you don't have to know a whole lot. You don't have to
Yeah.
know what's expected. You just have to register. But
Yeah.
as we get moving, you'll know that there are 3 components to this STEM competition: the engineering design notebook, the interview, and the performance competition. So in those 3 components in each STEM challenge, CC, I might say that the engineering design notebook is the most important. And I'd love for you to tell me a little bit as to, and the reason I'm asking you, CC, is because you see so many notebooks. CC is in charge of all the judges, and she's seen firsthand almost every notebook that's come in. So I want you to tell us, CC, why is this so important?
Well, the engineering design notebook is a scientist's best friend, really, an engineer's best friend. We want to be able to document everything that we're doing as we're working to solve a problem, as we're working to create a solution. It's important to document all that. And as part of this competition, it's written right into the specifications exactly what is expected of the engineering design notebook. However, I will say that in years past, I've seen some really great notebooks, and I've seen some where I get the hint that maybe it was a last minute, like, oh, crud, we need to make this notebook real fast. And it kind of looked like it. And
Well,
so
I
we,
mean, I'm a teacher and I think I might have seen that before with my students, regardless of how many times I've asked them. So I would say start early with the engineering design notebook. Start early. And Cece, you also
yeah,
have this big X here. This what's that all about?
well, because I think that it comes out a little bit different in the score than maybe we're used to in a typical classroom. The way we've done it is that it's a multiplier of the other scores in the competition. So when we have students that sort of ignore that engineering design notebook and get a real low score, so they have a real low multiplier, even if they have a fantastic performance, they're not going to win because that engineering design notebook multiplier has that big of an effect. And we kind of do this because we really want students to grasp the entirety of the competition. It's not just the day of, it's all this work that we're putting in to get there. That's really important. So we've got that engineering design notebook multiplier, which is really going to count. And it could help kids that don't have, maybe they practiced and tested their device and for some reason the day of didn't quite go the way they were expecting. If they've got a great multiplier, they might still be in the game. So it's a great little tool, and I really want for kids to be able to start off on the right foot. So we'll get into that here in a minute.
I love that. I love that. And I just brought up the engineering design process because the notebook there is all based in the engineering design process. So what we want to see, folks, is your students' process of thinking. And quite honestly, this competition, again, it's not about the what as much as it's about the how. It's about the process of learning more so than the end goal, right? Everybody wants to do great on the performance. I do too, for sure. But it's that productive struggle I talked about before that is so important to the process of learning. So those iterations, we call them iterations, the iterative process, but really it's failure, right? We fail and we fail again and we fail often and hopefully we fail early. But ultimately, if you don't give your students the time to go through this whole process several times, honestly, Cece, I think that the notebooks I've seen that are fabulous are so detailed. They've got sketches, they've got photos. What was our first design? How did we tweak that design? What's this design look like now? Because they're planning, they're designing, they make something. Oh, that maybe didn't work. They test it. Okay, that didn't work. And really in that making and testing process, that is that real chunk of time, but so important, and
Yes, it really is.
ultimately don't, and then at GCU, we want to share, right? Share our design. You want to do that too. But at GCU, we also want to scale it because we have such an entrepreneurial spirit. And if you go back to the challenge, the innovation and service challenge, that concept is to be able to eventually scale this amazing product utilizing STEM for your community. So, see,
Yes.
thanks for letting me go off on the engineering design process. I know that notebook score is so much better when students realize that it's rooted in that engineering design process. So I hope that you folks out there, advisors, create your own engineering design process. This one is created specifically for GCU. Maybe you have one for your school. Have your students really understand what it is. And I think they will just excel on that notebook that has a multiplier. Now,
That multiplier will get you. Yeah. And
I'm
it's
telling
also a great way. You come to this competition, you win. How are you going to share that with maybe grandparents back home? You've got this notebook that you can share with them and get them excited about it as well.
great idea.
Yeah.
Not to mention the notebook emphasizes English language arts. It emphasizes standards in writing. Kids get better at writing, pulling evidence from text because their text is their notebook and they can pull that evidence to say, yes, this is why my design worked or didn't work. Oh, I get all geeky about this. It's so much fun. But
Yeah.
in reality, we need to make sure these advisors leave today having a plan. We talked about
Yes.
a plan. So if you wouldn't mind talking us through this pacing plan, a lot of words on here, but Cece's got a plan. Go ahead, Cece.
Yeah, so and I bring this to you from years of my own experience of knowing that I have the best the best intentions, but maybe not the best plans, and I come to find out they are different. So when I start making those intentions into actual plans that I put on a calendar, I find my success rate goes up considerably. And so I just want to help you maybe get through that planning, getting from intention to planning.
I love it.
So we're going to start. And what I've done is this comes from a document I've created that's attached to our solutions to go here. And I've broken it down into 3 different pacing guides, depending on what sort of situation you're working with. The first pacing guide sort of starts in September and brings us to the competition in April. The next pacing guide starts in November, and I think that's the one I'm showing you here, and it brings us to the competition in April. And then the last one, because sometimes people just have that semester class, and so maybe you're going to start in January. It's possible to do this in a couple of months, but hopefully you have numerous times to meet in a week if that's the case, in order to really be able to accomplish all that you need to do. The points in the pacing guide are the same regardless. I've just changed the dates. So you've got more time if you're starting at the beginning of the year versus starting in January.
And
And
I'm
so we're
noticing,
going to look at, I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry. I just wanted to tell you, I'm noticing this is following the engineering design process.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
really does.
it looks like, you read the
Yeah.
specifications, you do some brainstorming. Now we're designing and planning, building and iterating. There's that engineering design notebook. You notice it's not due right away. It takes time to do that notebook. So as Cece, you were saying that you have a shortened guide. I think it behooves us to let our advisors know that if you're short, if you start like in January for an April competition, get on that notebook right away, right?
Well, honestly, that notebook should, no matter when you start, that notebook should start with you. It's not something that it's not a catch-up game. It's something
Thank
that's
you.
going to carry you through this entire process. So every step you should be checking in. Do we have what we've accomplished here with our introduction? Students are deciding what they're going to do. Set up your design notebook. Is that going to be a digital notebook, or are you going to put it on pen to paper? Either way is fine. But you'll want to know which way that's going to be, so you have that tool to go to for every step of the process.
Oh,
So you're gonna you design and pick what your competition is. You're going to start with that brainstorming and thinking about what does this, how am I going to solve this problem? How am I going to meet the criteria and constraints for our challenge. So we want to introduce and look at those specifications and really make sure that our students have read through those specifications in its entirety, probably a couple of times. So that they're really familiar. Then we start with that background research, very important, and have the kids learn how to do that APA formatting here. I know it's a bit laborious, but there are a lot of tools out there that'll help the kids do it, and it just shows them how to add that professional level to the work they're doing, and they're going to need it in English class. So
great
we may as
advice.
well double
Absolutely.
dip, right?
Absolutely. Your English teachers will appreciate you.
Yes, yes. And then you've got your design and planning, and as much time as you can give to your building and iterations and testing, the better the final competition product is going to be. So however much time you can allot to that is really important, but it's also important to capture the data from those iterations and the thought processes of taking it from one iteration to the next, making sure all of that information is recorded in the engineering design notebook. And then the engineering design notebook will be due on March 1st. So whether that's a handwritten notebook that you're going to take pictures of and submit via PDF, everything will be submitted PDF. And those, I think we'll do it just like we did last year. So everybody's notebooks will need to be submitted March 1st.
So write
Does that
that
mean that you?
down. It's not here, but it says 2/28, and so that's pretty much March 1st. So just know
Yeah.
that engineering design notebook, March 1st. Yeah.
Yes. Maybe we'll make it 2/28, but we'll have those dates for you for sure.
I love it.
But know that that is going to be the hard stop. So that doesn't mean that you can quit with the iterations, but when you're looking at your specifications, look at the specifications for what's required in that engineering design notebook and make sure that they are 100% met before you submit it on March 1st. And then
there's
you'll
the
have
final
time for
touches.
final touches, working on that presentation. We didn't talk about it too much back there on the other slide, but you're going to have an interview. And that's also another key area where kids can gain points towards perhaps a winning score. So being prepared for that interview process is really crucial. And that last month, the month of March, is a great time to get ready for that. And then, of course, we have our competition the day of, and that's April 4th and 5th.
Fantastic. Well, I'll tell you what, Cece, if I am an advisor, I know now that I know what the ICSC is, how to get started as an advisor. And what I really heard emphasized in this video was explore and read the specifications. Don't worry too much about which competition or which STEM challenge you're going to do in the very beginning. Just register. You know you want to come and compete with your students. You know you want your students to have this experience. So register and then have that conversation with your students once you have those specifications. And once you're finished with this training video, you can go get those specifications after you register. So very excited about that. And then make a winning plan. Cece spent a lot of great time creating those guides for you, those pacing guides. Definitely pay attention to the pacing guides. We thank you all so much. Cece, do you have any final words to say before we close out our video today?
No, I can't think of anything, but I will say, take the planning guide, turn it into a calendar. Put it on your calendar, what's going to work for you. So
with that, our why is to empower, educate, and inspire our communities so they take action to fulfill their purpose and serve others. That's you, advisors. You will serve your students very well by becoming a part of our ICSC International Christian STEM competition. We have absolutely free PD, a lot of STEM professional development at our YouTube channel for you, for your students, a myriad of experiences in STEM and the engineering design process. So please go and check that out. Hopefully I've given you enough time to click that QR code. We also have PD that's on demand like this. It's low cost, it's individualized, and your principal could absolutely bring a part of our team into your school to even make you that much more competitive in STEM and or other areas that you wish to be more successful at your school. So we cannot thank you enough for spending the time with us today. And we want you to know that, and I'm trying to move this camera view here to be able to give you the idea to give us an evaluation. Let us know how we did. Obviously not too great because I can't figure out getting this camera out of the way of that QR code. Either way, bit.ly/CanyonPD. We appreciate your time today. Now, get out there, get those engineering design notebooks rolling, and we like to say, just launch.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Bye now.
Okay, we're just going to edit this part out because I can't. There's my mouse.